the children's message, I have a little bag here filled with things I'm going to ask you about. So, we do say that God created all things. That God created everything. So, I have some questions for you. So I brought from home my Mickey Mouse t-shirt. Did God make this? Well, it's made of cotton, and cotton grows from cotton plants. So in a way, yes, God made this. And what about this? Did God make this? It's made of pottery. It's a piece of pottery. And what is pottery made out of? It's made out of clay. And where does clay come from? It comes from the earth. So did God make this? Yeah, really, God did. And what about this? Did God make this yarn? Now, yarn comes from all different sources, and one source is alpaca. Did you ever see an alpaca animal? Well, yarn can be spun from alpaca, and then it's dyed. Now, you never saw a bluish-green alpaca, did you? Well, that's because after they make the yarn, the fiber, it can be dyed to different colors. And if you want to know more about fibers, Miss Diane Johnson is an expert, and she can tell you about fibers from sheep and goats and alpacas and even rabbits. And what about this? What do you think this is? A big clamshell. Did God make this? Well, when God formed the oceans and He filled the oceans, we're going to talk more about God filling the oceans next week, but an actual clam used to live in here. So I don't know if you've ever picked up clamshells when you're at the beach, but I always do. And sometimes my grandchildren and we paint them afterwards. So that's something fun to do. But yes, God made this. I have a couple more things in my bag of tricks here. So this is made of wool. Did God make this? You've probably seen me wear this. Of course, because where does wool come from? One of the sources, right, wool comes from sheep. Did God create the animals, including the sheep? Yeah. What about glass? What is glass made of? Did you know that glass is made of tiny granules of sand that are put to temperatures, not like your oven when someone cooks something at 350 degrees, this is like over 3,000 degrees. The sand is heated and it makes glass. Wow. So God made the sand, right? Wow, God just makes everything. And lastly, I have a couple of rocks here. Someone who is a mystery to me left this last week on my car seat because they know that I love hearts and that I see hearts everywhere. And so last week I went into my car and there on my seat was this rock with a heart-shaped rock put on it. Did God make this? Of course. God made all the rocks that we see. God really creates everything we have. And that's the lesson for today. So even though we might see things like clothing or glass or pottery or yarn, shells, and t-shirts, right? We need to remember that God made it possible for us to have all these things because God created what they're made of. Thanks. Thanks for stopping in, and see you next week.